Okay, so hopefully we are live. Welcome everybody who's joined us. 6 minutes late, so very sorry for being 6 minutes late. Okay, so what we're going to do today, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'll just click a few buttons here and show you. So today we're going to look at logically organizing information in the task one details paragraph. So when I asked you guys, I think it was before Christmas, do you have any choices? Are there any things that you would like to discuss? This was one of the things that people really wanted to discuss. This is just for academic. If you're doing general training, don't worry. I'll make it up to you by doing a general training one. Maybe on Friday we could maybe do a general training one. Kind of, and you guys are only like 20% of the group, but you're still equal in my eyes, so don't worry about that. Okay, so let me just have a look here to see how many people we have live and if everything's working okay. Okay, so looks like we're all live and we're ready to go. Excellent. So if you have any questions or you have any comments or anything like that, just pop them in the comment section and I'll use my phone to have a look at the comments. So it shouldn't be any problem at all. Okay, so let's begin. All right, so, oops. So today we are going to look at organizing details paragraphs. So students often struggle with how to logically organize information in the two details paragraphs. And we're going to look at several examples and you will give me your thoughts and then compare with mine. So just fixing some audio problems and then we'll be off. Okay, so, oops. So why is this a problem? These are the three main reasons I think this is a problem. The first reason is it requires you to actually use your brain. So I've noticed that when teaching IELTS, students love it when you give them a formula, you give them a structure, you tell them, this is exactly what you have to do. But when you don't do that, students don't like it because they actually have to think. And when you're organizing details paragraphs, I'm sorry, but you have to think, you have to use your brain. So stop relying on me and stop relying on structures and systems and all of these things. For this particular thing, you're going to have to actually wake up and think. So the second reason is you don't know what is coming. So for, let's say, a reading question, you know that there's probably going to be, true, false, not given, multiple choice, matching headings. For writing task 2, you know that it's going to be discussion or opinion or advantages and disadvantages. You can really prepare and you can guess what's going to happen. But with IELTS writing task 2 or IELTS writing task 1 academic, there's so much variety. So you might get a line graph, a bar chart, a pie chart. You might get, a combination of them. You might get tables. You might get processes. You might get maps. And even when you get one that you like, you have no idea what the line graph is going to have or what the bar say. You don't mind using bar charts. You have no idea what the bar chart is going to say. So it is very, very unpredictable. And then the third reason I think why this is a problem is there are many correct ways of doing it, but also many wrong ways. So I'm going to show you lots of correct ways, but there are a lot of ways that you can mess this up. So let's move on. So this is kind of a three-step formula. I like these, just these step formulas, and so I created one for this. So step one, understand the data first. So if you do not know what the data means, then there's no possible way you're going to be able to explain it to someone else. So spend the first few minutes just thinking about the data and trying to understand it. If you start trying to plan and you start trying to think of, what's in my overview, what should I include in my details, how do I organize my details paragraphs without actually understanding the graph, you're not going to be doing very well. Step two, always think of the reader. So you're not writing for yourself. Most people don't realize this. Most people write for themselves, when really the function of writing is so someone else can read your writing. So you're writing for the reader, who is the examiner. Make it easy for the reader to understand. So this is absolutely key. Lots of students send me their task ones, and I have no idea what they're talking about. Like most students who send me their stuff is fine, but some students send me it, and I send it back and say, do you understand what you've written? Because if you don't understand, how do you expect me to understand? Like most people do think about the reader, but a lot of people don't, based on what I'm seeing when people send me their essays. So always remember you're writing for the reader. And step three, when you're planning and proofreading, ask yourself this question: if I walked out of the classroom or wherever you are and handed my task to a stranger, someone I've never met before, would they be able to understand everything, and would they be able to recreate the data source? So if you were doing a bar chart, could you give them the task and could they draw the bar chart? If it was 2 pie charts, could you give them your task and could they draw the pie charts without ever seeing them? If your answer is no to any of those things, then you're not doing your job correctly and you need to think about the reader a bit more. Okay, so all right, so hello to Rustam, hello to Jiro, hello to Jera, hello to Unbin, and hello to Ronald. Thank you for saying hello. Okay, so let's move on. So before we get into it, let me just explain what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a task 1 academic question, and all I want you to do is say, what would you include in the first details paragraph and what would you include in the second details paragraph? I don't want you to write details paragraphs. All I want for you to do is just say, I would include this and I would include that. And I'm going to give you a limited amount of time to do it, because if you spend a lot of time on this, it's kind of counterproductive. And if you are watching live, please participate, please comment. If you're not going to comment, just leave. Don't be wasting anyone's time, especially yours. Okay, so the first one, have a look at this, and I'll give you 3 minutes to write in what do you think you would include in paragraph 1 and what would you include in paragraph 2. And let me know if you have any questions or there's something that you are confused about or not. But this is the easiest one, so if you don't get this one correct, then there's some big problems happening. Okay, 2 more minutes. I'll just check the comments here to see if anyone has any questions. Okay, so we have a few answers already. Optimistic Man, body 1, cement production, body 2, concrete production. Kana, same. Gyro, same. Ronalyn, same so far. You've only got one paragraph. Sona, same. Okay, so I think this is pretty obvious. I would organize the paragraphs like this: first diagram, second diagram. So there's absolutely no reason to overthink that. One thing that most students need to do is get out of their own way. To get out of your own way means like stop doing something that is sabotaging your chances, stopping you from achieving your goal. And what lots of students do is they overcomplicate everything. This is as simple as it needs to be. Okay, let's move on quickly. So here, let's do this one in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, how would you do this one? Okay, let's see if there are any answers. Okay, Optimistic Man is first again. Paragraph 1, life cycle. Paragraph 2, production of silk. Kana, same. Ronalyn, just one again. You must have that thing on your Facebook where when you hit the space bar or when you hit enter, it just posts instead of giving you a new paragraph. I really hate that too. Okay, so again, very, very easy. We're not going to be spending much time on that. I would organize the paragraphs like this: first diagram, second diagram. Okay, so why would you do that? It's useful to spend just a minute talking about this. Why would you do that? Because it's the most obvious. It's the most simple. It is the most straightforward. Therefore, it is logical. What does logical mean? It means it makes sense. So if we go back to this and somebody started to explain, first of all, they started to talk about the twist. So they said, oh, how you make silk is what you do is you twist it and then you dye it. And then, like, it doesn't really make sense starting in the middle. You need to start at the start and then follow it in a natural progression the way you would explain it normally. Okay, so let's start getting a little bit more complicated. Have a look at this. So I'll give you 3 minutes to write what you think for this one. Ronalyn, you don't need to be sorry. it's Facebook's fault, not mine. If you're on a computer, Ronalyn, what you can do is you can hit Control and Enter. So if you hold Control and Enter at the same time, it allows you to have a new paragraph instead of it. So I just discovered that myself 2 weeks ago or something like that. Okay, let's see if anybody has any ideas. Nobody yet. So this one is a little bit more complicated, but don't overthink it. It does look complicated, so just while I'm waiting, maybe I'm annoying you by talking when you're trying to think. But when you see multiple graphs, don't panic. You know, they are simpler than you think. Just because you see a lot of data and you see a lot of things doesn't mean it's actually complicated. Okay, so Optimistic Man thinks that the first paragraph we should compare 2000, and the second paragraph we should compare 2000 and 2050. Same for Gerald. Gerald, I think you're just copying. Sona 2000, 2000, 2050, 2000 Yemen and Italy, and the second one 2000 versus 2050. Rumbin. Okay, okay. So let's have a look. Or are there a few more people who want to go? Okay, so let's have a look. So I would organize the paragraphs like this. First main feature, second main feature. So it's clear that Yemen had a younger population in 2000, and the same is predicted for the year 2050. And then the second main feature, the populations of both countries are predicted to get older over the 50-year period. So that's a little bit different from what you guys had. But what you guys said was absolutely fine. But I would do it, just split it up by main feature. Because what I've done is I have listed the 2 main features in the overview, and then I'm going to go into more detail. So the most logical thing for me is to take the first main feature, discuss it, and then skip a line, discuss the second main feature. And that might be a little bit simplistic or obvious. I'm just getting you to focus on the main features. What we're not just going to mention that in the main body. So this bit, so let me see. So this bit is from the overview, and this bit is from the overview. And then what we would do is we would do our details paragraph for this one, and our details paragraph for this one. So pretty simple. Just showing you how you can think about it. The way you guys thought about it is pretty much the same. Comparing Yemen and Italy in 2000, and then comparing 2000 with 2050. That's pretty much the same. But I just wanted to highlight that it's very logical that you would do this. So this is just an option. Okay, so I think we can move on. This one. Excuse me. Okay, let's see if we have any ideas. None yet. So my handy first one we just discussed local, and then the second one national and international and mobiles. Okay, good. SONA, local calls, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, mobile, national, international, because all are gradually increasing. Okay, yeah, that's logical. That makes logical sense. That's a good reason. Okay, Roland, fixed line for paragraph 1. So, okay, same as the other ones. Bin, same as the other ones. 0, bit different. Paragraph 1, mobile, international, paragraph 2, local. Okay, optimistic man is the same as everyone else except gyro. Kind of bit different again. Local calls and national and international calls, paragraph 2, mobile. So that's a good range of different ones with like 3 different groups of thoughts there. So let's have a look here. So you could do it in 2 ways or 3 ways really. The first one you could just have local calls and then national and international calls. Plus mobile, or you could have local calls, national, international calls, and then in the second one you could have just mobile. So just put it in brackets to show you that there's a choice. The way that Jero done it, you've kind of done it, the opposite way around. That would be fine too. So the reason why I chose this one is to show you that there are different correct ways of doing things. Both of these ways would be absolutely logical, and it would be fine to do this. So just because you get a different answer from me or a different answer from each other, doesn't mean that you're wrong. It might just mean that there are different ways of doing things. Okay, next one. Okay, so let's have a look, see what people think. Optimistic man. So paragraph 1, fossil fuels. Paragraph 2, the other, so renewable fuels. I don't think we'd actually call nuclear renewable. Solar, wind, hydropower are renewable. My mistake. Okay, Roland has the same. Gyro has the same. Renji has the same. Sona has the same. Rustam has the same. Okay, if you all get the same answer, it normally means that if students get the same answer, it normally means that you're all correct. Or rarely that you're all wrong, but most of the time, if students get the same answer in a class, it means that you're all correct. So let's check it out. So I made a mistake here. I'm saying renewable energy. Nuclear is not renewable. So, just other energy, not renewable, because that's not actually correct. But how would I organize this? Fossil fuels, so the top 3, and other energy. Why would I do this? So I think there's a double, there's double logic to this. These are all the same category. So fossil fuels are all kind of the same thing. And then these are another category. They're like not fossil fuels. But the second reason, the more prominent reason, would be fossil fuels are used far more, and renewable or other energy is used far less. So there's 2 reasons why it's logical to do it that way. And everyone agreed, so that's great. Last one. Okay, already optimistic on TV, paragraph 2, radio, TV, radio, TV, radio. Okay, looks like there's a consensus. But let's see if anyone wants to be daring and do something else. Don't be afraid to be different. Kana, same. Rustam, same. Okay, so television and radio. Very, very obvious. And the reason why I showed you this one is just because you're going to organize them like this doesn't mean there isn't going to be some crossover. So probably in this paragraph is when you're going to make your comparisons. So you're going to be mentioning television in this paragraph, and then you're going to be moving into radio. But in the radio one, you're going to be making your comparison. So it's not strictly just television and just radio, because the purpose of this graph is really to be making comparisons. Okay, so one thing that probably a lot of you are thinking right now is, why did we all agree? Why was that so easy? Probably the main reason is when students send me a task one academic question and they say, I have no idea how to organize this. I don't know what to do, or they get it wrong. It's normally because they're using a question that doesn't come from an official source. So there are lots of websites out there that just try to get as much traffic as possible. And a good way to do that is just put fake questions on their site so they can make money from advertising. These people don't know what they're doing. Therefore they create questions that are overly complex and confusing, and this leads to confusement. That's not even a word. This leads to students being confused. I'm a little bit too tired. So what I want you to realize from this lesson is it's not that complicated. It's just if you think logically, like what are the logical reasons, how should I organize everything, and it should be really, really obvious. The thing about Task 1 Academic, the examiners are trying to make it easy. They're trying to make it easy for you. They know you only have 20 minutes. The examiners are the people that write the questions are the problem. It's students overcomplicating everything. That's the problem. And kind of the second reason why that might have been easier than you think is when you break things down into simple little tasks, like the lesson we had before, we were just thinking of like one idea and then thinking of one explanation and then one example. When you do little jobs like that, they're very, very easy. But when students open their paper and see a question like this, they go, oh my God, how will I ever do this in 20 minutes? And then there's time and stress and pressure. But in the exam, if you break your jobs up into simple little jobs, like, okay, open the paper, task one, first job, understand the question. Second job, pick out the main ideas, the key features. Third job, think about how you're going to organize your paragraphs. If you just split things up into little jobs, then things should be much better. Let me see how much time we have. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, let me know quick. If not, I'm gonna go because I'm feeling a little bit tired and maybe getting sick. So I feel like this normally means that I need to stop working. So I was up late last night doing the new speaking course, so I have like an extra job to do. So, but that's fine. But it means that just a little bit tired today. So doesn't look like we have any more questions. I'll give people one more minute to do that. Ask any questions if you have, and if not, I will go. Okay, doesn't look like we have any. Thank you very much. If you do have any questions, post them in the group, and everyone will get back to you, and I'll get back to you as quick as possible. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. It was, how do I turn this off? It was a pleasure as always.